and welcome to Motivational Monday, where you can learn how simple shifts in your habits can lead to profound results in the way that you feel and in the way that you look. In today's video, I want to share with you a better understanding of how sugar impacts your body, where it might be hidden in certain foods, and whether low-fat foods are actually a better option for you than eating regular fat foods. So one of the most frustrating things that I often see in my practice is people's reluctance to eat high-calorie foods that come from fat. So they'll totally avoid eating things like avocado, nuts and seeds, and olive oil, and instead opt into these lower-calorie foods that are made with low-fat ingredients. So the big problem here is that calories are not created the same. When you take in calories from fat, it works in a different way than when you take in calories from sugars. And when you're eating low-fat foods, you're taking in way more sugar into your body than eating foods that are naturally occurring sources of fat. So to better illustrate the difference between eating 100 calories worth of fat and 100 calories worth of sugar, I'm going to explain this little story to you so you can better understand how it all digests in your body and its impact. When you take in 100 calories from a low-fat food, you're taking in food that has more sugar in it because the way that the manufacturers compensate for the lack of flavor in eliminating the fat is by adding more sugar. So you're taking in a 100-calorie snack that's low-fat but high in sugar. When you take that in, that sugar requires insulin to be metabolized. But unfortunately, when you take in something so sweet like that, it's not like a carbohydrate that has a lot of fiber, it's just straight out sugar. Your body does not have an opportunity to be exacting about the secretion of insulin. So it sends out often more than you need to digest this one cookie. What happens then is that this extra insulin that's hanging around is storing fat in your body, typically in your midsection, and it's also increasing your appetite and your cravings. So that's what happens when you're taking in 100 calories worth of sugar. You're taking in something that's, even though low in calorie, it's going to spike your appetite and your cravings and store fat in your body, making it really hard not to go for some more ice cream or another cookie or whatever it is. When you instead take in 100 calories worth of fat, like in an avocado or some nuts and seeds, those foods don't require insulin at all. Those foods, because they're fats and oftentimes they contain protein, they don't require insulin. They have a different and slower source of digestion that takes several hours for them to digest depending on the quantity that you eat. Because of that, this slow burning of fuel allows your body to use fat as an energy source rather than using the sugar as an energy source. So what happens then is that you're actually burning fat, your appetite goes down, and your cravings go down because these foods do not trigger that insulin response. And the whole key is insulin. So if you understand that principle, then you can see that 200 calories worth of avocado would be far better than 100 calories worth of a sugary food. So I want you to start considering that high-fat foods, unless you're eating them in massive quantities along with massive quantities of sugar, are not bad for you. But if you're eating adequate amounts of fat and low sugar, that would be ideal to help you with your energy, your stamina, appetite control, and weight control. Here is a way to visualize this so that you can start understanding how much sugar you're actually eating. And I use this with my clients every single day, and it makes a huge impact on their brain and it keeps them from overeating sugar. I want you to start looking at labels. And I don't even care how many calories are in there, because if you understand that story, then calories really almost don't matter. But I do want you to look for two things. I want you to look for serving size, so how much do I have to eat to get the correlating information, and then jump right down to how many grams of sugar does this food have. So, if something says it has 5 grams of sugar, 5 grams is the equivalent of a teaspoon of sugar. So I happen to have some sugar here, and I want to show you so that you can get a good visual of what 5 grams looks like. So here's my little dish. Here's a lot of sugar. 5 grams of sugar is a teaspoon. That's a solid 5 grams. So if something says it has 5 grams, that's what it looks like. If something says it has 15 grams of sugar, that's the equivalent of a tablespoon. So that would look like this. It's a significant amount of sugar. So when you're reading labels, you might see 12 grams, 13 grams, and you might think that doesn't sound like a lot, but that's more or less what that looks like. So I want to go over some common foods that have lots of sugar so you can get an understanding of what you're eating. If you have half a cup of low-fat ice cream, traditional brands, pretty common brands, a half a cup, so that's not a lot, right, is 12 grams of sugar. So it's slightly less than this dish right here. One Snackwell cookie is 12 grams of sugar. So one cookie is that much sugar. And what happens then is that you eat one, it's not a lot of calories. You think, well, it's only 60 calories or whatever it is, 30 calories. It can't be that bad. So you have another one. Now you've had 2 tablespoons of sugar that's triggering that insulin response, increasing your appetite and your cravings, and storing fat in your body. So you might even be able, even if you're able to reduce your intake of these foods, because of what they contain, you're still going to struggle with your appetite, cravings, and your ability to lose weight. So it's not just low-fat foods also that have all the sugar in them. Some common beverages that people are drinking that they think are healthy are really high in sugar. So take a 12-ounce glass of orange juice. That has 33 grams of sugar. So that's one tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, right, of sugar. 1 12-ounce glass plus about half a teaspoon of sugar, a little bit more than half a teaspoon of sugar. So 1 12-ounce glass of orange juice has that much sugar in it. That's a lot of sugar. You're much better off eating the orange than drinking the juice. Coca-Cola has 40 grams of sugar, so that's the equivalent of 2 tablespoons and 2 teaspoons. That's a lot of sugar. So start looking at labels, look at how much sugar you're taking in. The question then always is, how much should I look for? How much should I take in? Understand that every fruit that you put in your body has some level of sugar in it. Every vegetable is a carbohydrate. It's going to break down into sugar. So if you're eating a whole foods diet, you're already getting in a decent amount of sugar in your diet. So it's hard to quantify like what you should be doing in a day, because if you're eating lots of fresh food, you're going to be getting some sugar into your system. But if you're buying things in a package, if you're buying a bar, a protein bar or a health bar, you really want to strive for getting a bar that's less than 5 grams of sugar, 5 grams or less. That's still a considerable amount. You don't want to rely on these things as a snack that you have regularly, but if it's something that you're running through the airport and you need a snack, a 5-gram sugar kind bar would be a perfect snack once in a while. So really look at the label and see if you can find 5 grams of sugar or less. Obviously, always better to just have the fruit and maybe a handful of nuts as an ideal snack, but I understand that that's not always possible. So now that you have a better understanding of how much sugar might be in your foods, I want you to start going through your cupboards and your refrigerator and start looking at the foods that you commonly eat and see if you can assess how much sugar you're taking in. I guarantee you, you will be shocked. When I ask people how much sugar is in their diet, they'll often say to me, I don't eat sugar, because they're imagining that the only sugar that is consumed is something like this in their coffee or something like that. But if you're eating anything that's prepared out of a box or a wrapper or a can, you're likely getting in sugar. So start taking a look. And then once you do, I would love to hear from you. How shocked are you about the foods and how that you're eating and how much sugar they contain? Tell me in the comments below. Also, if you have already done this in your life, if you already have gone through your cupboards and made an assessment of how much sugar is in your diet, I want to hear from you as well about how you feel having eliminated these foods from your diet. So do comment in the links below. So there's another Motivational Monday for you, and I hope that you found it helpful. If I teach you nothing else out of these videos, if I help you better to understand how bad sugar is for you and how much you might be getting in your diet, then I have done my job. If you like tips like this and you're looking for more of them, come on over to BarbaraMendezNutrition.com and please sign up for the mailing list there. Once you do, you will automatically receive an email from me every Monday with either a written or a video blog with some nutrition tip or recipe or something to help move you closer to your health goals. You can follow me on Facebook or Twitter, and like always, if you feel like there's somebody in your life that would benefit from this information, please share it with them. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a wonderful week and have a great Monday.